All right, the man behind the success of Nelvana and Cookie Jar is at it again, this time combining Vancouver-based Rainmaker Entertainment and New York-based Frederator into Wow Unlimited as the next major production player in children's content. Joining us now is Michael Hirsh, the CEO of newly minted Wow Unlimited. Michael, nice to be with you today. Thank you very much.
Great to be here, and thanks for having me.
And for our viewers to know as well, you started your company, your original company in 1971, produced things like Babar and Care Bear, among many, many other well-known productions. So thank you,
Sure.
I think, from all of us to you.
Well, thanks. And my favorites like Franklin and Roly Poly Oly.
Great to be with you. Talk to us a little bit about the deal that you've just announced and why this is different, or what you're planning to do with it, what the goal is.
Sure. So we've just combined two great companies, Frederator, which is the world's #1 animation digital network online, with Rainmaker, which is based in Vancouver, a Canadian company that originally made Reboot and has subsequently made the Barbie videos that kids love and made some Bob the Builders and lots of other great shows. We're combining those two companies with our management team from a company that I had in partnership with Bob Ezrin called Ezrin Hirsh. Bob Ezrin, of course, is the world famous music producer and creator of such great platforms as Seventh Level and Enigma Digital. So the two of us worked together with Neil Chakravarty and Christian Devin to come up with the business plan and the pieces that will also be added to Frederator and Rainmaker, all to create Wow Unlimited. And our goal was to build the next generation platform for kids and youth. And I emphasize youth because Frederator is one of the larger aggregators of the youth audience, which is so hard to deliver. And you know, it's often missing from TV. But Frederator is an MCN on YouTube, so they're an aggregator of content on YouTube. And so a lot of their audience is focused on that 15 to 30-year-old age group. So very exciting. And what we're looking to do in the spirit of all the business ventures I've been involved with is be disruptive to the sort of ongoing environment. And we're part of a disruptive movement, right? The disruptive movement that's begun for the last, I'd say, close to 10 years now, of delivering streaming shows, which competes with traditional linear networks, and which allows people to view on demand when they want, where they want, on whatever device they want. And in this case, we're disrupting the whole concept of what a kids and youth company should be. And we're doing that by focusing on a couple of things. We're focused on producing the kind of content that kids want to watch. In the past, producers like myself, the producers at DHX, the producers at Nelvana, you know, all great producers, all focus on producing what, you know, their gut tells them they should be making. And there may be a little bit of market support for the projects, but they go a lot by their gut. But when you look at YouTube, which is now the largest engager of kids, there's more kids watching YouTube than, for example, all the Disney channels in the world. If you look at what they're watching people unwrap presents. They're watching people open Kinder eggs. They're watching, you know, cats play tricks. So the content they're watching isn't the big expensive shows that I've made that you referred to, like the Babars, etc. I mean, those are being watched, but more kids and more youth are watching these sort of low-cost things that excite them. And so we're focused using the knowledge that we get out of our Frederator company, which is an MCN. We're using that knowledge to focus on delivering the shows that kids really want, rather than what somebody else thinks they want.
Michael, you have been a disruptor essentially since you started, and you built and sold a number of companies. What is it, do you think, about you and perhaps your team that allows you to kind of figure out how to be ahead of the disruption curve? What you've described in terms of the disruption over the past 10 years and where people are viewing their content, we kind of know that, but I have a feeling that you are even ahead of that curve for sure, and you're talking about it in the sense that you're going to deliver to people what they actually want. But how do you do that? How do you sense and truly figure that out?
So we use the Frederator company, which is, you know, an MCN, and uses the algorithms on YouTube to identify what is trending, what is becoming more popular, what are the shows that are the most sticky for kids, and we use that to decide what should be a premium program. So Frederator has recently had and enjoyed success with companies like Netflix and Amazon identifying some of the best trenders on Frederator to order premium episodes of. And so a number of series are currently in production, including a show called Bravest Warriors, which Frederator is doing with our own Nelvana and my old Nelvana home. And we're also focused on doing a show with Netflix called Costume, and there's a lot of other things that are sort of in the way and coming. There's a great show called Bee and Puppy Cat that we're going to be producing that has also risen to the top, and a company called Elation, which is a joint venture with AT&T and the Churning Group. That company has identified Bee and Puppy Cat as a show that they want a premium version of.
You go ahead, Don.
You know, I couldn't help thinking when you were talking about that, about Jane Jacobs. You know, in 1962, she published the great book on urban renewal, and her book analyzed about parks, those which succeeded and those that didn't. And it was contrary to what everybody had said up till now. And she said, no, they want to go to parks to see people, not to have these things out there that are on display. And people want to see people. And oh boy, the urban planners were really furious at her, but that's what she said. The parks that work are the ones where they have the eyes there, which protects the park. But people come to see people, and that's what you're talking about. In this change here is the kids want to see other kids doing things as opposed to just having things done for them. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's a great insight.
Okay.
Will investors perhaps at some point have a chance to invest or participate in this? People have certainly benefited from you selling previous companies to Chorus as well as DHX.
So we have actually, as part of this announcement, we announced a transaction where Cormark and Canaccord, which are our two brokers behind the deal, have raised money for the company and underwritten an $11 million buy of shares, new shares. And on top of that, they have about $4 million more of over allotment that they can sell. So this will be an opportunity for investors to participate in. And when I look back at the success that both Nelvana and DHX have had as public stocks, I'm hopeful that we can deliver similar sort of results again to the public and to ourselves, because I've invested and my partners have invested.
Absolutely, and I know that historically, Michael, you've taken risk and you keep going for it, which is interesting from an entrepreneurial perspective for our viewers as well.
Right, I guess I'm a disruptive entrepreneur.
Michael, we'll leave it there. Nice to see you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
The book is The Death and Life of Great American Cities. It is an absolute masterpiece. It is still the best book you will ever read about how people behave in public and why it's important. She came to Toronto, remember? She finally gave up in Greenwich Village.
Yeah, I remember.
So, yeah.
Okay, we'll look that up. Thank you again.
All right.